In this video, we will take a look at how to remove shadows like these from wildlife macro photographs. This is where we want to take it, and we will use only Lightroom for this purpose. No Photoshop will be harmed. So how do we get to this part? Let's take a look. We go into the develop mode, and the first thing I will do, since this is the raw image with nothing applied, I will apply my raw wildlife preset. This I have already shared and explained in earlier videos. This gives us some basic settings. The next thing I will do is I will crop the image. I do a X and a X, and maybe just shrink it a bit more so that we have more of the subject visible rather than blank space. W, a shortcut for the white balance, and I just click on this wall. That seems good enough. And let's bring the highlights down further, increase the shadows, shift double click the whites and the blacks, and then adjust. We don't really want it so high, and maybe a similar, and maybe a bit more of texture and clarity. As you can see, the shadow has darkened a bit. Okay, so let's go into the cleanup part. We pick up the adjustment brush, the shortcut of K. This is the icon. We'll turn on the mask overlay so we can see the mask. And what we want is, in this case, a white background. A black and white background is easy to do in Lightroom. For any other color, you would have to go into Photoshop. So let's just mask this out. In this particular case, I can actually mask out the entire image. I can simply draw all over, including the subject. Now if I remove the mask, shortcut of O, it's all white. So we go into the range mask and select the luminance mask. Bring the range up, and most of the wall is now plain white. And that should be good enough. Do we need to pull it back? Maybe just a wee bit. The smoothness actually does not really matter, because the shadow we are going to remove separately anyway. Okay, now this mask is done. Now we create a new mask, and we'll turn the overlay mask on. Actually, you don't need to, because we'll see the white, so we can switch it off. Okay, so we just carefully brush out this area. We have the shadow here. You can obviously zoom in a bit. Press the command key as a shortcut, or enable the auto mask from here. I will use the shortcut of command, and that seems to be done. So now we can zoom out, and now we will choose the color range mask. Pick the color, put it into where the shadow was, and if we take a closer look, we have this color as well. So we do a shift and click on that color, and that more or less effectively will clean up the mask. The amount can be adjusted as required for a given image. And we are done with just 2 masks in a successful cleanup. Now we go into the quick heal tool and just remove these spots. I'm using a clone here because we already know it is white, so healing is not really required. Cloning works just as well. So we are done here. We can go back into the basics panel and make some more adjustments. The tone curve, maybe pull it down a bit more. In the midtones, so we have this showing up. We can always go back into the adjustment brush, select our main point and just wipe these out. Or we can also create a separate color range mask. I'll keep the command key pressed. Okay, so not really required, just a brush does that. And that's about it. This is the before and this is the after. Of course, we can still clean up some of these spots that we have here. This, for example, some of these will appear after the basic cleanup. Ideally, you would zoom into the image and make sure that your brushing is clean. For example, we see another spot here, so I'll just keep the command pressed. Oops. Okay, doesn't matter, it's a new brush. And that's it. We've gone from here to this in a matter of minutes. And it looks a lot cleaner and the subject really stands out a lot more than it did earlier. We can always make adjustments after the cleanup has been done based on our own personal tastes. And if we do a J, we see some clipping in here, which is fine. That can also be adjusted. We don't really need the whites all the way up. In fact, we can also reduce this now that we have done the basic cleanup. That's it for now. Have fun. Till the next one.